Welcome to Depression Proof Your Life Live, a space for honest conversations about mental health, mental wellness, recovery, and resilience. Here, we explore how communication, environment, and mindset work together to move us from silence to strength. I'm Marion Mills, and I created DPYL out of my own journey through mental illness, addiction, and recovery. These conversations are about breaking stigma, finding support, and reminding you that you are not alone. If tonight's conversation brings up heavy emotions for you, please step away and reach out for support. Call or text 988 or call 911. Let's begin. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Please help me welcome tonight's guest, Deb DeVries. She is a wife, a mother, a multi-award winning and nominee voice actor, multiple Telly Awards, Communicator Award, a W3 Award, one Voice Award nomination, and a 2024 SOVAS Voice Arts Award nomination for Outstanding Consumer Sales Video. She is also skilled in different accents. Now, make sure I say this right. Modern RP, is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, perfect. French, German, Russian, neutral US, and General Southern. So her husband, Scott DeVries, is a partner at Hutton Andrews Kurth, and 3 children that she couldn't be prouder of, Mandy, Katie, and Ryan. Mandy graduated from USC, Katie from Columbia, Ryan graduated from Duke with a master's in engineering. Now, Deb has a powerful hidden talent. She is also a 3rd-degree black belt in Taekwondo, certified stage fighter, and sings alto. And to top that all off, all of her children are black belts as well. Please welcome Deb. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Depression Proof Your Life Live.
Oh my goodness, Marion, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
How are you?
I'm good. And it's exciting. And I have to say I'm a little nervous, but it's fun to be here. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for extending the invitation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad that you agreed. Now, I do have a couple of questions. Now, as far as nervousness, believe me, I have all the nerves for the both of us. I do have a question about your children. Are all of them 3rd degree as well, or at different levels of black belt?
No, my daughter, my oldest, Maddie, is a 3rd degree. And then Katie and Ryan are 2nd degree black belts.
Wow. Now, of course, before we get into the question, that just, when I saw that, I was like, what? Like, she could kick your butt with a smile. Like, seriously. But
And I'm wicked with a bow staff.
Oh, wow. I would love to see it. So I do have, how long have you been training? Or is that what it's called, training or?
Yeah,
practice?
studying, training, practicing. I have to say I had to give it up because I have orthopedic issues. So,
Mhm.
it's like I've had 5 knee surgeries,
Oh, okay. Wow.
3 shoulder surgeries.
Mhm.
So, but I just love it.
Yeah.
When my kids were younger, having 2 girls first, when I was growing up, the activity to put your daughters in was, oh, let's put her in ballet. Let's put her in, tap and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I was kind of in the middle of the pack, a little on the chunky side, and
Mhm.
I never quite fit what they were looking for in the
Right.
dancing arena.
That's right.
So as my kids came along and my girls were old enough, I thought, you know what? I don't want to put them through that. I want them to kick butt.
I
So
know that's, look,
that's
isn't it beautiful how different things that may have been a struggle for us, in our earlier life, it can be empowering. You use that,
yes,
and empowered your girls,
absolutely, and my son too.
Your son too, exactly.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
leave Ryan out. But yeah, absolutely. I love that. So let's get into the questions.
Okay.
So many people romanticize being an entrepreneur or a solopreneur. Can you share a little bit about what inspired you to be a solopreneur and And a two-part question on that. What is one reality check that you wish some people understood about the mental load that it takes to do it all?
Okay. What inspired me? Let me address that one
Yes.
first.
Hmm.
Um, I always had a love for acting, and I think that stems from my dad.
Okay.
He was a movie theater manager
Oh,
and loved anything about acting and movies and that sort of thing. So I think that love came from him.
mm,
And I wanted my kids to be involved in things early on where they wouldn't be judged by anything. The one
wow.
challenge I found as far as my love for acting is that the first thing if you're gonna do on camera, the first thing they ask, "How tall are you? How much do you weigh?"
Right.
And how what do you look like? And,
Hmm.
that's rough. So,
Hmm.
I didn't want them in dance class. I didn't want I said,
Good
"Okay,
for
what
you.
about you?"
Hmm.
I went to, our local, club, and they happened to have 2 taekwondo masters that did classes during the week.
Okay.
I went to one of those classes and I went, "This is it. This is it." And that was the beginning of the story.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So can you, I guess, I know coming into voiceover for myself, I had never heard of the term solopreneur. Sometimes
Mhm.
I still have difficulty saying it. Can you tell the people the difference between solopreneur and an entrepreneur?
Well, I think, you can be an entrepreneur
Hmm.
and have multiple people helping you. You can start a business and have, maybe a friend, do the computer part, and then you can have another friend who does all your accounting, and then you could have another friend who does something else.
Okay.
But as a voice actor, a solopreneur, to me, I don't have backup.
Hmm.
As I know you're aware,
Yes.
as probably most of the people listening,
Yes.
something goes out and you're going, "Holy heck, what am I gonna do?" And you have to be able to be astute enough, um, you have to be computer savvy. You
Hmm.
have to be, savvy in your craft. You have to have good communication skills. You have to be a salesperson. You just gotta do it all, and
Yeah.
I am certain that, if folks are out there, they're kinda shaking their heads going, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah. No, I really appreciate you for explaining that because I don't think it's ever been explained like that. But what you just said makes total sense. You can start a business as an entrepreneur and
Right.
have multiple people helping you in
Yes.
different areas, and
Mhm.
you're still the business owner and the face of the business, but you
Right.
have people behind the scenes. But
Yeah.
a solopreneur is just that you're doing it all.
Right.
Okay.
You wear every hat
Every
imaginable.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you. So, you've mentioned, just in us talking and about what we were going to discuss tonight, you mentioned setting goals and managing your time were key tools for you managing and stabling your mental wellness. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I have to credit my thanks, mom. I have to credit my mom
Okay.
because she was a highly organized person.
Mm,
And I think watching her and seeing her be able to balance everything in our lives growing up, that stimulated that part of my brain. And then I think I had a natural personality trait that was, my kids will call me anal, but I prefer to think of it as organized.
yes.
And and so, when I entered after college, I entered the business environment, and you really especially when you start managing teams of people, you really do have to be organized yourself and be able to help guide and encourage your teams to, "You've got this goal, let's set out this is one date. Let's work backwards. What are the steps that we
Mhm.
need to take before that goal is accomplished?" And now we're not just gonna talk about them, we're gonna actually give them a timestamp. And I think that's where some people stop. They go, "Okay, here's all the things I need to do."
Right.
They make a list. They might even say, "Here are my A's, here are my B's, here are my
Right.
C's."
Mhm.
but you have to get even more refined. If you've got
Wow.
5 A's, which A goes first?
Prioritizing.
Yeah, that's it. That's the
You sound
key.
like you sounds like you were an amazing supervisor just with the way that you sounded like you were very mindful of um your approach to your team, you know?
Uh, I hope I was. I tried to be, because a manager is nothing without their team. Manager is just one person, you know?
Yeah.
Um, uh, it's like you cannot get things done unless you have a group of people around.
Mm.
Especially, I had experience with, oh, that's cute. I'm a control enthusiast.
You saw
Yes,
that, yes.
I am a total
Freya.
control enthusiast. But you know, a manager doesn't get things done without the team.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, yeah.
Awesome. I know, just a little bit of self-disclosure for myself. My brother is, like you said, your mom was,
Yeah.
and like you are. My brother has always, always, always journaled things.
Right.
The night before, he's always looking in his journal, writing down, already knows, kind of preparing his mind for what
Yeah.
he has to do the next day. And honestly, I struggled with that even as a social worker. And I guess
Mhm.
because as a social worker, I walked in and I had in mind what my day was going to be like, but when you're working with, I had no idea if a phone call came in that derailed everything that I had planned. So I was never it was a struggle for me coming into voiceover, having to plan a day. And I remember someone asked me what my hours were. I was like, I mean, I don't have I'm not, it's not a building, it's not, brick and mortar, so I don't have hours, like I'm just
Right,
available.
yeah.
And someone was like, no, you have to have hours, like. And over the years I've come to understand and actually appreciate the need for that. So yeah, so voiceover
Yeah,
has actually gotten me a little bit more organized than I ever have been. So
absolutely, absolutely, and I think one of it's very, very old school now, but, it was called the Franklin Time Management System, and
I remember that.
the thing that engaged me so much about that particular program was it was very holistic. It didn't say, "Just organize your business life." It
Mm,
started with establish your values.
okay.
What are the life values that are most important to you without any judgment,
Right.
so that you don't become solely focused on one aspect of your life,
Okay.
on just maybe your personal life or your business life. It was prioritize everything. And then you give them the A's and the B's and the C's, and you number within each one of those alpha groups.
Right.
And once I started using that, it became easier to accomplish those tasks because they were woven into the fabric of what was important to me.
Yeah, and everything, not just one aspect.
Exactly.
So
So that
important.
the family didn't get left out, so
Yeah.
that, your social life didn't get, or your friends, your dear friends didn't get left out. Your parents didn't get left out. So
Wow.
it was it resonated with me. It may not be for everyone, but
Right.
it worked for me.
Well, I love the way that what you just described was what people talk about all the time, which is work-life balance, you know? Like
Right.
that's literally what you just described.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you balance ambition and self-care? And it sounds like you kind of just answered that. Being your own boss with everything, with everything is depending on you. Um, of course, I understand the Franklin system that you were just describing, but how do
Mhm.
you do that now as a solopreneur? How do you juggle, or do you still use the same system and it still works for that?
You know, I'm not still using the planner.
Of course, but
Don't tell
just
anybody.
the
Yeah,
framework behind it, right?
the brain work behind it, I think I've used it so long that
Okay.
I think I naturally think in categories of A's, B's, and
Yes,
C's.
that makes sense.
And so
Yeah.
there are multiple A's in different facets. So family is critical to me. My career is critical to me. My wonderful pups are,
Yeah.
important
Yes.
to me.
Yes.
So those are all A's. And then you simply sequence within the A's. And a
Okay.
lot of times, if there are meetings or there are, commitments,
Mhm.
that will help you rank those priorities within the A band, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, thank you so much for
Mhm.
explaining that. Can you share a moment when something completely out of your control disrupted your plans? How did you manage it mentally and emotionally?
Oh my goodness.
You can take a minute to think about it if you
Oh, yeah, I gotta think about that. Okay, here's one. My second child. All
okay.
right. First, it was a long journey. It took us 7 years
Okay.
to, come up with child number 1, and child number 1, true to fashion, was just a skosh late. She was supposed to come on June 24th. Her birthday is July 2nd.
Okay.
Now, my second one is a ball of fire, Katie, and her birthday was supposed to be October 12th. Her birthday is September 13th.
Oh, okay. I'm
So
here, world.
yeah, yeah. I was calmly sitting at my desk, everything was going great, and then all of a sudden, I stood up, and, the water's not supposed to break, but
Yes.
it did, and boy, that threw us into a whirlwind.
Wow.
So, I don't know, is that an example? All my priorities got shifted at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because everyone's moment is different, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So how did you ended up handling that? I mean, when it came to, did you still try to control things that you had to do for work, or Katie basically was like, I'm the priority and
That's it.
nothing else matters, right?
She kicked her way out, and
Okay.
that reorient and that's just like business life.
Yeah.
Your boss can come to the door and say, "We've got an urgent thing that needs to be done."
Oh yeah.
Well, your plan kinda just gets rejuggled.
Can you give an example of something like that in your voiceover business?
Um,
Like just where something may have been thrown you for a loop and didn't not so much throwing you for a loop. I don't want to necessarily say that, but you have your day planned out and something that happens. I guess an audition, probably getting a lot of auditions that.
or I have a couple of clients that are very what I call just in time.
Oh
Everything is done just in time.
yes,
I'm a like, "Okay, let's start 6 months before
that's
and
right.
work." No. So I do have some clients that are just in time, and they will send an email, and, man, you've gotta have your routine down so that you can go, "Okay, this is now A1. I'm putting all these down here." But f at least for me, it gives me a frame of reference. It gives
Yeah.
me something to work from. And
Okay.
so that client need hops up, and it's the first thing I have to tackle.
I like that. So, what does mental stability mean to you?
Wow. You didn't tell me you were gonna ask me these thought-provoking questions, my dear.
Oh,
But
yes,
let me
I,
think
I, I
about it.
sent you all the questions.
Ah.
I didn't change any
You
questions.
did. You did.
I,
I'm
I,
just
I,
kidding.
yeah, I don't like to surprise anybody. But yeah,
No, I'm
take
kidding.
your time if you need
Gosh.
to think about it. Before, as you're thinking about it, let me just share with the audience as well as a reminder for you.
Mhm.
When I reached out to you about being on the show,
Yeah.
you were telling me, you were like, well, I don't have any mental health challenges, never. And I said, well, the show is not about anyone that's been diagnosed or anything.
Yeah.
If because there are some people, like I know a couple of people in my life that just even killed. Over the years, I've never seen them get upset. I've never seen them unraveled,
Right.
frazzled or anything like that. And I remember thinking about that. And you were telling me that, the balance for you is time management and just scheduling. So I can certainly understand how this question may throw you for a loop a little bit,
Mhm.
but I also believe, I'm a firm believer that when it comes to mental health,
Yeah,
it's just like our physical health.
absolutely.
It's something that we all have. Some are, it's a spectrum. It can be
Absolutely.
really, really good. Sometimes it can have some issues, or it can be on the other end of the spectrum where,
Mhm.
about like myself, in and out of the hospital,
Right.
in and out of psychiatric hospital. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, like I said, take your time and think about that. Um,
Well, let me know if I'm on track with this response. I It took my husband and I 7 years of in vitro
okay.
to have our first child.
Okay.
And there were multiple miscarriages along the way.
Yeah.
So that kind of experience can
Mm,
really, really throw you for a loop,
absolutely. Yeah.
and completely uh, reorient your priorities.
Yeah.
Um, I remember we had a positive pregnancy test,
Hmm.
and I was actually teaching a class for a very large client. I was still in my corporate environment,
Yes.
and I kid you not, in the middle of that class, I felt something wasn't right.
Mm,
So we took a break. I went to the restroom, and I knew I was having a miscarriage.
mm,
So
mm.
that definitely takes your breath away,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you reevaluate your priorities and you look
Mm,
at things. I called my boss. I said, "This is the situation. I can make it through the end of class." It was like 3 o'clock. Class would have
oh,
ended at 4. I can make it through the end of class, but you're going to have to get somebody to sub for me for the next 2 days of class. And it did. It worked out. But I remember driving in the car over the San Mateo Bridge thinking, how am I going to deal with this?
mm, mhm.
How am I going to deal with this? Are we ever going to have children?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, did that answer your question?
Wow. And yeah, and yes, absolutely, it did. I appreciate you for sharing that, because I know that, in the realm of us talking about, being solopreneurs, that was not necessarily something that you had in mind to share, but I really appreciate you for sharing, because it's
Yeah.
real,
Oh,
and
yes.
that's one of the main things that I want represented for depression proof your life, is just honest conversations. And
Yeah.
yes, some people don't have whirlwinds, ups and downs every single day,
Mhm.
so like you said, sometimes it's just pivotal moments, and hard moments,
Yeah.
huge, like they're it's like, have these days where everything is pretty stable, but sometimes it can be really crushing,
Right.
like something like that. So I thank you so much for sharing that. That's definitely yeah. And San Mateo Bridge, is that what you said? That's in
And
California, correct?
yeah, San Mateo Bridge. I'm up in Northern California on the
Okay.
east side of San Francisco. And
Okay.
at the time, I was working in what we call the South Bay, which is down San Mateo, San Jose area. And I finished that class. And in order to get home, I had to cross the San Mateo Bay Bridge, which is south of San Francisco, but connects the west side to the east side, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, Christy Hurt,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I
Yeah,
see that.
thank. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, Kirsty.
And I even appreciate, you sharing the thought that you had in the moment, because I'm quite sure it's multiple things are going through your mind,
Mhm.
but yeah, definitely one of them being like, are we ever going to?
Right.
So I really appreciate that. Soraya also, was saying thank you so much for sharing, so appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Now I'm gonna give a clumped. No, don't. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you.
So if you could go back to your younger self, what's one piece of advice that you would give about managing stress and self-care in a solopreneur, entrepreneur? What would it be? What would you tell yourself in preparation?
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. Yeah. If you are passionate about something and you set a goal, just every day tell yourself you can do it. You can do it. Um, and what helped me is that I kept that list of long-term goals. What
Okay.
are my long-term goals? If they fade from your mind, I actually had a list of things. I'm a great list maker. I make a
Yes.
list of things, and I made a list of my long-term goals, and I kept them and have them in my studio, that this is what I want to accomplish. These are the things that are important to me. And even though it was in my studio and it was related to my career, there were also things in there that were related to family,
Yeah.
related to faith, related to just who I was as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think some people are very, very goal oriented,
Yeah.
and they find that they focus on just perhaps one aspect of their
Mm-hmm.
life. And then that there's some serious collateral damage to other aspects of your life.
Okay.
So,
I appreciate you for saying that, because I know for myself, and I know that it was my mindset, my mental state, uh, thinking this way that kept. But it was very difficult for me to write out goals, because,
yeah,
and again, I'm a believer, and I know the word, but I would write out goals. It was very difficult for me to see those goals, or it was very difficult for me to see those goals because of what I saw in front of me. And every day it was just a challenge, like not seeing myself get any closer to these goals that I've written down,
right.
So I appreciate the fact that you actually pointed out, like, I had them up there, like,
Yeah,
I kept them up there.
yeah,
It's not like you took them down, like, oh, well, didn't make that after a week, so
right.
yeah, I really appreciate that, you for actually pointing that out, because I think that it's very important for people to understand that it's a process, and
Absolutely.
and goals are something that are supposed to be long term. Am I right? Right? It's the goals that
Absolutely.
are long term, not they're not necessarily supposed to be short term, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You might start, I know some people, use something called mind mapping, where they'll just write out on a piece of paper in big circles everything
Mm,
that's important to them, and then they start connecting the circles. Or
okay. Yes.
maybe they think in a linear fashion and,
Yeah.
kind of like me, and I think in an outline.
Hmm.
But the first thing to do, at least I think, is just sit and reflect on what's truly important to you. And, it takes time.
Yeah.
It's not something you can sit down for 5 minutes and go, "Oh, okay, well, my family, It takes
Right.
time and reflection.
I like that word, reflection,
Yeah.
because I think that's important in so many different aspects. Michelle asked, Deb, what belief about yourself did you struggle with embracing when starting your own business?
I'm not good enough.
Mm, wow.
That's it. I'm not good enough. And
Wow.
it's very amorphous, this business that we're all in,
Yeah.
because what one producer might go, "Oh, that was brilliant." Another producer would hear it and go, "Oh my gosh, that's horrible."
Hmm.
And so we live in this very value-laden environment, and you never know. You never know. So that core belief that you are enough, you are good enough,
Yeah.
and not every director, producer is going to think that you're awesome.
Mm, yeah.
But you just hang in there for those who do, you know? And it's a long game. It is definitely a long game.
Yeah, Michelle, thank you so much for that question. I really appreciate it going, the topic kind of going there, because I know that was something that I really struggled with, coming from, corporate. I mean, I had a degree in social work, and that was what I was born to do,
Right.
So coming into this world, um, I was always asking, my coach, like I remember one coach actually told me I would read the script and I'd kind of look over. He was like, "Stop looking over at me," and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"How do I know whether I'm doing it right?"
Right,
Like,
right.
because again, I think coming from a corporate world or anything outside of you know, uh, I guess a creative space, I would say.
Mhm.
Someone is telling you, all right, or you're being evaluated. You're being
Right.
evaluated to tell you, okay, you need to fix that. You need to work on this. So, in coming in this realm, it was very difficult for me. So I certainly know that feeling. And I remember when I one of my first paid gigs, I was like, someone paid me to talk.
Yeah.
Like,
It's wild, huh?
someone paid me to talk, like, and I still didn't believe in myself, still didn't like my voice, all those different things.
Right.
It wasn't until, as something that you alluded to, it wasn't until clients started telling, like, Marion, when we heard your voice, blah blah blah, when we heard this, as soon as we heard you,
Yeah.
and I was like, that is the power behind my voice,
Yes.
and that kind of helped me. And this is like in the last year or so, of
Right.
me being in voiceover. So like you said, it's definitely a long game. It's not just you know one and done. So Ross, so relatable.
Oh,
Thanks.
good.
Mhm.
Michelle, I was just gonna say, I hope I answered your question.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and an example just to dovetail off what you just mentioned,
Hmm.
Marian, we deal in specs. You get the audition and it says, "We want something that's, um, conversational, authentic, this and that," and it's like, "Okay, conversational. Conversational
Right.
what sounds conversational to you, Marian, and what sounds conversational to me could be 180
Totally
degrees
different.
different.
Or
So
or the famous line, talk like you're talking to your girlfriend. Well, it depends on which girlfriend I'm talking to. It may
exactly.
sound differently.
So the spectrum is so wide and so broad, and
Yeah.
I'll even I'm constantly listening to either radio ads or television ads or
Mhm.
whatever, and I will hear something and I'll go if my husband's in the room, I'll go, "Scott, you tell me, is that conversational? That's not conversational."
Right,
And
right.
and it's like, "Okay, just go in there and give it your best shot."
That's that. Yeah, exactly. And I think that was something well, I know it was something else that I struggled with, um, coming from the military and then being a social worker, just, very, very, um strict, I guess, jobs, where it's, this is the way we do this, very serious jobs. Had to go to court, had to testify, all these different
Right.
things. it, I was very stiff anytime I got in front of the microphone. This is the way that I was. And I remember being really tense, and it wasn't until I started to get conversational, I would literally lean up against the wall in my booth,
Yeah,
like, just to kind of relax my body, I guess, as they say, the
right.
physicality of acting. That's when I started, like, oh wow, now I sound really relaxed. Okay, now this is, so yeah. And I want to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Kristen was saying getting
Yes.
zero feedback on audition leaves a void, and it really does.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of the people that are chiming in, that have been in this filled for years, because that's not a void that goes away. Like it's
Right.
really something, because we're all, and we're all, we see some of the same jobs, see some of the same
Absolutely.
auditions. So yeah, it's like, and I think that's what the benefit of doing a lot of the, if you can get in on what are they called, like the study groups, where you
Right.
actually get
Right.
feedback.
Yeah.
You can read an audition, one that you've done or one that's coming up, and you can actually get feedback from people. That
Yeah.
is extremely rewarding and helpful. It really is.
Yeah. And have to resist um, constantly reflecting on negative feedback that you might have gotten.
Hmm.
That's extremely challenging
Yeah.
because I'm someone who will typically go, shame on you, shame on you. Yeah,
Mm.
oh, you shouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah.
Or I second guess myself, you
Yeah.
know?
And
Yeah.
that's chimed in with what Soraya just said.
Yeah.
Self-confidence is really key in our business, especially because there is no feedback. So
Yep.
and I know, I've gotten to the point where I will do. I remember the mentor that I was working with when I first got into voiceover. He was like, it shouldn't take you any more than 5 to 10 minutes to do an audition. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
how do you do that? How do you
Are you
do
are
that?
you kidding me?
Right. Yeah. Are you serious? Like, and now I certainly understand. It's like, you know what, you have to give it the best that you can do, your interpretation of what's
Right.
needed, and leave it alone. So
Yeah.
yes, yeah, and again, I have to be very careful with negative self-talk, because I can easily go back into, a depressive state. So I
Yeah.
definitely try to make sure that if those thoughts start to come, it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I literally have to up the Everett
Nice.
Oliver method, lean and relax.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Yeah.
Love it.
Have you ever worked with Everett or?
I've been in, large classes with
Okay.
him as a facilitator, so yes,
Yes.
yes, keen insights.
Yes, yes, definitely. I appreciate that, and that. Thank you. Yes. But yeah, wow, wow, wow. Awesome. So, what message would you like to leave listeners today, um, about embracing imperfection and finding balance in this world of being a solopreneur?
Wow, okay. I think, not to, reiterate something that we've touched on, but
Hmm.
I think the
Reiterate.
only yeah, the only way that, at least for me, that I'm able to continue and keep on plotting, is to reflect on the biggest values in my life, what's most important, and then breaking those down into smaller steps. And then when I accomplish one of those smaller steps, I check it off.
Okay. Hmm.
And that, at least for me, and I think when I was taking Franklin, they used to say there was actually an endorphin rush that you get when you check
When
something
you
off.
check that off, yeah,
When you
yeah.
actually manually do that,
Hmm.
and that's a cool kind of endorphin rush I can get on, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So, again, just for me, what keeps me balanced is getting up every day, having my routine,
Okay.
and seeing that I'm accomplishing things along my path,
Yeah.
and those paths are as individual as every person on the
Hmm.
planet.
Right.
So, for me, I don't see the judgment on rights or wrongs or anything. That's for each
Right.
individual to
Right.
decide.
What works for you? Yeah.
And what works for me is just seeing, okay, so I didn't get the big thing done, but you know what? I made this step.
Hmm.
Okay, I got 5 files organized.
Hmm.
Tomorrow, I'll get the next 5. And then, before long, oh my gosh, it's all done. I did it.
Thank you so much, Deb. I really appreciate that. Um, if anyone wants to get in contact with you, I'm going to put your information up on the screen, but you can
Please.
actually tell the people how they can reach out to you, if they'd like to speak with you or contact you.
Sure, Pony Express. No, I'm kidding. Um,
I love
Guess I'm that old. Okay,
that.
feel free. Reach out. Deb at debdevriesvo.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So there you have it. And I welcome anyone to reach out and ask me a question, and I'll do the best I can to answer
Deb, you
or
have been such a
collaborate.
joy. Yes, absolutely. Deb, you have been such a joy. And I do want to ask, because of course I know that we've been in communication about your Briar Rose, how and you have other pups. So do you have other pups other than Briar Rose?
We have three. Briar is the grand madam of
Okay.
all the house, and
Hmm.
she is 14 and a half. She's struggling right now.
Yeah.
Then we have Barkley, our little teeny tiny Great Dane mix.
A great day.
Oh yeah, he
Okay. Oh,
comes. Yeah.
can you get him?
Uh, he won't fit in here. Yeah, I
When you
can
say
share a
little,
picture. Yeah,
oh my gosh, a
he
great
is.
Dane mix. Oh,
Yeah, he's 90 pounds. Briar Rose is 80. Uh, Barkley, aptly named because he barks a lot.
Bart.
90. Yeah, that we didn't name him that. We adopted him,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
that was the name he was given.
Hmm.
And so he's 90 pounds. And then my oldest, her dog is with us right now, and her name is Aloe, which means spiritual leader.
Okay.
And yeah, and she is the little one at like 65 pounds. So 65, 90, 80. Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because and the reason I asked is because of course, I asked you if you had any pets because our one of our our second episode was recorded before the first one actually aired, and he brought his dog on.
Oh
Eddie
gosh.
Randall brought his dog on
Yeah.
because he kept leaning over. So, oops, sorry.
Uh,
He kept leaning over, and I was like, that would be perfect. After talking about some heartfelt things, some heavy things,
yeah.
sometimes I think that a pet is a great way to end the show. To warm the hearts of many. So like I said, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
But definitely continue to say prayers for Brian. But like I say, if you have a picture of any of them or one of them, I would love to see the picture of the Great Dane mix. Like
Oh, okay.
that's
I will
Barkley,
share
right?
that. I'll share that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's
Okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. But
Yeah, we
yeah,
have that. Okay, let me add. Yeah, Barkley, 80, 70, 150, 210 pounds worth of dogs we have here.
wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for being here and for sharing your insight. Really appreciate it. Our guests, thank you so much. Well, I said our guests, but our audience, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, thank you. Have a
Oh,
good night.
thank you. Take care,
Absolutely.
all.
Yes. Thanks so much for joining us on Depression Proof Your Life tonight. If this conversation stirred up heavy emotions for you, please reach out for help. Call or text 988 for 24-hour support in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., look up your local crisis helpline. Stay connected with DPYL by following us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And visit depression-prooflife.com for resources, blogs, and to share your story. Your voice may be exactly what someone else needs today. Until next time, take care of yourself. And remember, healing is possible.